me talking to you guys a little bit. Mark off where I off at 2:42, 3. Because I mean, there's topics and there's things that I wanted to address, and normally I don't get a chance to address them during the stream because I'm playing the game and everything like that. So I figured I'd take some time out from the schedule to address certain things. And first thing first, I want to show appreciation to everybody that has been following the Twitch channel, the YouTube channel, the social media pages, all that stuff, all the likes, all the comments, all the reshares, all that stuff. It's amazing. I appreciate all of that. And there was always this question I get a lot from other people, friends of mine, and they've always been, how come you don't have a podcast? And they thought during quarantine would be the perfect time for me to get a podcast or start one, and I've always been against it. Now, I'm not against podcasters, I'm not against podcasts. The thing that turned me off the most about being on a podcast or doing a podcast was because everyone else had a podcast. And I felt like if I got a podcast now, I'd just be jumping on the bandwagon of podcasting. And I don't want that. I don't want that feel. I don't want that vibe. I don't want people to be like, oh, he just got a podcast because of that. When I jumped on Twitch, 2-3 years ago, it was because it was something different. It was something new. It was something that a lot of people weren't using as much. And that was always the thing that I appreciated the most when I got on. Now, obviously, quarantine has seen a lot more athletes and stuff get more time, so they're on Twitch now and they're partnered and all that good stuff, and I'm happy for them. But it wasn't the reason why I jumped on Twitch, and I don't want people to be thinking that I'm bashing them because I'm proud of everybody that does this. I'm very supportive. I'm a very supportive person. I'm happy if anybody is succeeding and winning in these media times. I've done media for close to 20 years, almost 20 years. I've been in some kind of form of media or entertainment, working with doing music as a bootlegger in high school, selling mixtapes and stuff like that, transitioning over to radio when I got to college, being a communications major, and being interested in radio and TV and all that stuff, managing my own music label for a while. That was fun. So yeah, I've seen it all. I've been through it all. So it's weird to see people in media, and I'm going to give them quotes because I don't want to call them reporters, because I don't really consider them reporters. They're people that just state their opinions, and granted, we all do that. I'm doing it right now. But when you are a person with a major platform, you have to prepare. You have to be careful of what you use your platform for. And one of the things that I've noticed a lot, especially on Twitter, is that reporters, especially in the wrestling community, like to use their platform to get themselves over and not the article or not the situation that is in front of them. Most people don't know, the wrestling world was hit with a lot of unfortunate moments this week with the passing of Shad Gaspar, rest in peace. Passed away drowning and being pulled by a riptide, but saving his son prior to being completely taken by the tide. Heroic stuff, like, and I mean, that was tragic. And then followed up with Hana from Stardom, who passed away the other day after a bout with depression and taking her own life. and cyberbullying was a factor in it, and she just couldn't handle the situation anymore. And it's a really, really tough moment. And the one thing that bothers me about reporters is that they're more about getting themselves over instead of understanding the story, understanding the situation that is presented in front of them, and not handling it with specific understanding. A lot of media people that are really established understand the severity of these situations, and they're not looking just to get the click, the views. They understand that this family, because there is a family that has to, pick up the pieces after a person is gone, and they're still having to mourn. Meanwhile, this reporter spends his time trying to get views and clicks about that situation, and it's more about money for them than it is actually giving a crap about that person or that family. Cyberbullying is terrible. I do not condone it. I do not advocate for it. If you are one of those people, especially because I see it on Twitter all the time, if you're one of those people, I don't support you. And it's terrible. Like, I understand a joke here and there because I'm one of those people that loves to joke on Twitter about certain situations, but there's a fine line between joking about about a situation than actually going out your way to cyberbully a person on Twitter. And there's people that spend their entire day talking reckless about a person that they don't even know, or talking reckless about a person who plays a character on a TV show. Just stop. And I feel like other people should hold these people accountable and call them out when they are wrong. I don't think we do that enough, and I feel like after seeing this situation, I feel like we need to hold these people accountable, and I think they need to either adjust or get out of the business. You cannot allow them to continue their platform in tarnishing the business. That's my opinion. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of people that do that. I'm not a fan of everybody. Oh no, it's not PC culture. There's a difference between being a critic and being a total. I almost went way over my audience, because there's a fine line between being a critic and being an overall jerk and being a cyberbully. Criticism is fine. I am a very big critic of my friends, of what they're doing, and if they feel like I feel like they're doing something wrong or whatever, I will call them out. But I will not spend every waking moment waking up calling a person or dragging a person down just because. Now, I will say this: I am very critical of Jason Whitlock. He is not my friend. I don't appreciate anything he does. I spend every moment saying I don't like that guy. That is very thing. But I will not waste my day going on his social media and telling him he should pass away. He should not exist anymore like that. I will never tell someone to go kill themselves. That's just wrong. It's too much. It's over the top. It's unacceptable. It's unnecessary. I don't have to agree with his opinions. I can disagree with him all the time. I can physically not like him. I can physically can't stand him. I don't have to want to listen to him ever. But I will never wish someone's life to end because we disagree on opinions. It's just, that's the line. It's over the line. It's inexcusable. It's not acceptable. That's my Hannah take. I had to make sure I get that across. Secondly, still deep diving in the wrestling. That's what we're gonna do. I think this whole segment is about wrestling. The next one is the current video that is going around, and it's a reporter, podcaster, basically throwing out one of the worst takes about Alexa Bliss. Now, I get it. If you are not a fan of Alexa Bliss wrestling, that is not the situation here. The situation is his criticism went above and beyond the actual take. There, of course, there's certain times when you say, "Oh, I don't like that wrestling." Fine. If you're a critic, fine, go for it. But when you go extra, and if that's your thing, you need to change your thing. And people that support his thing, you need to start looking at yourselves, because he does have a massive platform, 117,000 subscribers. That's impressive. But if your platform is basically that, pass. I have no interest in watching it. And I question a lot of people that are mad supporters of his. It's the line of reporting needs to do better, especially with these wrestling reporters. You have to start having some kind of journalistic integrity in this business. And I think that's the problem, is that a lot of people don't care about the word integrity when it comes to reporting now, because anybody can be a reporter as long as you have a microphone and a camera. And I think that's the problem, is because there's no training, there's no understanding about media, there's no understanding of how to handle a platform. And then you have other people who are well established in this game, 30 to 40 years of experience, and they don't understand media integrity either. So you are also getting a bad example by looking up to certain elders with poor media integrity. And I feel like we need to start doing better. That person's take on Alexa Bliss, inexcusable, unnecessary. I'm not even going to deep dive into what Sonny said about cyberbullying. No, I'm good. That I'll ignore, because pass. But yeah, going back to the Bliss statement, if you're not a fan, fine. If you want to critique her in-ring ability, fine. But once you start going outside of that and talking about her personal life and whatnot that you do not know about, that's another thing. We reporters talk about someone's personal life like we know them. Just because they follow a certain couple of things on social media, you do not know that person that you are watching on TV. You have to remember that you do not hang out with them. You are not someone that is in their inner circle. Just because you watch them and maybe watched a couple of interviews, you do not know them personally. Please stop speaking on them like you know them. I can't stand it. It's just I can't. How he has 117,000 followers or subscribers on YouTube boggles me. Just shows you just really, really sad that people follow some really crappy takes, and they'll no, pass. Feels good to be back from the eye injury and all that stuff like that, and being able to talk a little bit more. And this segment is one of the first of the many. We're gonna talk at the end of every stream, especially in the mornings. So this is my cool down, and I get frustrated just even talking about my cool down. AEW's Double or Nothing was over the weekend, Saturday. I enjoyed it. Certain parts I did not like, and we will talk about the parts that I did not like. Big time. But overall, I dig this. I loved the show. I loved watching it. It was fun. It was entertaining. It was good wrestling. Didn't know Brian Cage was coming out. I remembered he was injured. I forgot all about him because he has been injured and sitting on the sidelines. So I was surprised to see him sign and him show up for the ladder match. I thought that was awesome. He came out there looking like the Machine, like normal. I'm glad Taz is there to talk for him. Not a really big fan of Brian Cage's promos, so I'm glad that you got someone like Taz who can say some things and make you go, I don't even know if I should be angry or I should be hyped up for it. So I'm happy for that. Orange Cassidy, hilariously amazing every day. If I can watch an hour of Orange Cassidy doing whatever Orange Cassidy wants to do, sign me up. Sign me the F up every time. There's one spot. There was a couple of things during that match, the ladder match. Darby Allin doing the skateboard off the ladder to another ladder made absolutely no sense to me. I didn't understand it. I don't get why we needed that spot. I feel like it does more damage to him than anything. It doesn't do anything effective. And I felt like it was just a pointless spot. I get it. And the thing about it is, I was never a fan of the Jeff Hardy spot. I felt like some of the Jeff Hardy spots were just unnecessarily reckless. So I'm going to be the same way about Darby Allin. The one thing I do notice about wrestling now, and I saw it a lot during Double or Nothing, is that you have moments where a wrestler's trying to hit a certain move and you have the other wrestler sitting there having to wait for the spot to come. Like, it's weird because they're just sitting there and they're like, all right, bring this, catch you or whatever. And it's just, you can see them waiting. And sometimes it's not a super long time, but sometimes it feels like an eternity waiting for the Hurricanrana to happen or something like that. And you're just like, should have been a little bit, I wish it was a little bit smoother. That's just me nitpicking about certain things, but certain things could go smoother. Sad to hear about Britt Baker being out for extended period of time for a knee injury. It's rough. I was happy to see Penelope Ford out there, Philly, Chris Statlander is one of my favorites too. So it was kind of rough, but I was still rooting for Philly all day. Just saying. Let's see what else. MJF, I offline have been very critical of MJF and his wrestling. I've never been I dig his character. I get his character. His in-ring stuff was something I was not really super on the bandwagon about. So it was really welcoming to see what a damn good match he put on with that Jungle Boy. It was a really dope match. The one thing about it, I cannot stand the inverted Hurricanrana. It looks reckless. It looks bad. I can't stand it. I fear that nobody gets hurt from that like badly. I just never like that move. I don't like looking at it. It makes me cringe every time. Yeah. So, but overall I love that match. It was good to watch. Nice to see Dustin Rhodes back out there, but the one thing that not even bothers me, but it's just sad to watch is Shawn Spears. Because I felt like when Shawn Spears jumped to AEW, he was gonna have a bigger spot. And then he's out there in his underwear with Tully's face on the crotch. That's it. That's the take. That's it. That's all I have about that match. Just sad. Nyla Rose match was pretty cool too. Like, I'm not a big Nyla Rose fan. I mean, I have no problem with her, but it's just some of her matches don't really, drag me in. But this one was pretty cool. The Lance Archer and Cody match, okay. And let me get into that one. So I was cool with the Lance Archer signing and everything like that. I just wasn't somebody that was really big on my radar. I mean, I've seen matches of his. He's cool, but it's just okay. Cody, cool, always solid. Never really had a problem with Cody. The TNT title, and I went off on this on offline because the belt was not the best looking of belts. I will say that. I will admit to that. It was not the best looking of belts. It was rough. And then you have Tyson. Tyson comes out there and he's holding his belt, and you've had him parading that belt around. And I feel like once they realized that they were getting criticized for such an ugly looking belt, they went and said, oh, well, due to the COVID-19 situation, the belt wasn't finished. Once you do that, you should never put the belt out. You could have just said that from the jump. No one had to be out there. Tyson could have been an enforcer. He could have just been out there to shake the hand of the winner, anything like that, present a trophy, anything. You could have got a trophy from any kind of trophy place and presented that as the TNT championship until the belt was ready. To give Tyson an unfinished belt, make him pose with it, hold it around. It seemed like you guys knew that was going to be the belt, and then you just said, we got to add more to it. And it kind of shows your arrogance, because I felt like you guys thought that the fans were just going to buy that up because it's an elite situation. But they didn't, and you guys were upset about that. And that's fine. But you're going to redo the belt, I'm assuming, and you're probably going to do better, and I appreciate that. But that belt, that time, it shouldn't even came out. Didn't need to be there at all. Nah. Not at all. What else? The Moxley and Brody Lee match. They were trying to bid it as two undefeated guys going at it. And they were like, Moxley's 11-0. Moxley's 11-0. And he's beating actual like people that were, around for a while. Brody Lee is 5-0 and beat basically nobody that would warrant a title shot. That was the one thing I wasn't a fan of. I wasn't a fan of them trying to hype it up like Brody Lee has been unstoppable, and he was beating like, Kenny Omega and Cody and like all the top-notch guys to get the Moxley. He didn't. He was doing squash matches. Come on, no. Not a big fan of Dark Order. Dark Order seems like a really, really failed version of Dungeon of Doom. It seems like it's trying to be a corporate version of Dungeon of Doom, which is even worse. And they don't fear anybody. They don't have anybody that fears them. You've been telling people to join the Dark Order, and you didn't really get anybody else besides Brody Lee. You didn't take anybody else. At least Seth Rollins sat here and stole Austin Theory, who was like broken in the corner. Come on, pick some names up before you get somebody that no. It was cute for like 2 seconds, and then I was like, I'm over it. But I feel like Brody Lee is an amazing athlete. and I felt like he was just put in a really bad booking situation. And then he didn't tap. He didn't get pinned. He got choked out. I guess that's the best way to do it. You don't want to have him eat a pinfall or tap. I don't know. Don't think he should have been in that spot after 5-0 of jobbers. I don't think he was ready. But I mean, I guess it's special circumstances. You got people unavailable, people still stuck in Mexico and Canada and in their respective areas, so I get it. But I don't know. What's that thing called? The Stadium Stampede match. Stadium Stampede match puts the Inner Circle versus the Elite and Matt Hardy. Broken Matt Hardy. It was all right. It was taped earlier, so it was edited and everything like that to get all the good spots. Certain spots were just unnecessary. Certain spots were kind of just hokey, but overall it was fun, entertaining. The one spot I did not like with passion was the drowning spot. I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to recreate Matt's a lake of reincarnation, but it was right after Shad passing from drowning, and you had Ortiz go right to the camera and say, "He's dead." Not the perfect timing. I felt very uncomfortable about it. It felt weird. I wasn't happy about it. No, I'm good. But I overcame that part and was able to finish it in the one spot at the end. Of course, the Sammy Guevara was a gem throughout this one. Just running around doing all the funny stuff. He's a funny guy. I can enjoy Sammy Guevara all the time. Running from the cart again because he thought he was gonna get ran over. The spot with Kenny Omega at the end, the one-winged angel, is proof that Kenny Omega should not be in a tag team. He should not be in the tag team division. He is a star, a solo star, and he needs to be at the top of the card. He doesn't have to be holding the title. He could be in high-profile feuds without the title. He should not be in the tag team division at all. I get it. He wants to be selfless. I appreciate it. I commend it. But if you wanna take it to that next level, make him a solo star again. Put him back in the solo. Put him back at the top of the card. He is must-see TV. He is one of the best wrestlers in the world. He should not be in a tag team at all. At all. And I will say that every day until it's over. He does not need to be in a tag team. Tag team, like 6-man tag matches, sure. From time to time, sure. He is a solo star. That one-winged angel is going to get a lot of press, and you go, "Oh, he's back in the tag team division." That's cute, but he's not needed there. He's a star. But overall, a good show. I was happy to watch it. It was good to see another pay-per-view of wrestling. WWE's been doing their thing. Impact's been having their own specials. So it's been nice to watch wrestling during these like pandemic times and quarantined times. A lot of people are, super overly, critical of their wrestling now because there's a lot of it, but you also have to realize circumstances are preventing them from putting on the very best show, but they're going to put on the best that they can. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate what they do. So, whew, look at that wrestling take. Feels good. And